Hi folks, Mike here with Chasing Trail in my garage, which stinks like gasoline because I spilled it all over the place and got a mouthful, but that's another story. I just got my 550 ECU flash back on my CRF300L. My build is complete. Let's go ahead and, I can't swap the camera around just yet, but here you can see the bike. It's all buttoned back up, possibly prematurely, but I have confidence, I have faith that everything's going to work. And I'm bringing you here with me for the first time, turning the key and starting it up and praying that this all works. You're either going to see me be very happy or very sad. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and actually we'll just do this here. So far so good. Wish us luck. It's alive! It's alive! Yes! I'm gonna flip the camera around. And we're back. She's running. Ooh, that was a bright headlight. Oh, I'm so happy about that. Let's check my turn signals. That was a big question. Right turn signal is flashing. Something smells weird. Yeah, looking good. Okay, let's test the brake light. If I can reach it. Yes. Oh, that's money. New Moto X exhaust with the spark arrestor in. Alright folks, we're in business. I will be right back to discuss. Alright, I am back to go over my build on my 2021 CRF300L Rally ABS. It only has 60 miles on the clock, but my build is basically complete. I'm not going to have a chance to ride it probably until Friday at the earliest. The weather here is pretty nasty. It's cold, it's raining, we got 40-mile-an-hour winds, so not going to be riding it in the near future, but man, I can't wait. I can't tell you how happy I am that it fired up and that everything seems to be working. Oh, that's just awesome. Okay, I've got a little list here. I'm going to go over basically everything I decided to put on the bike. Maybe talk about why briefly. I'm not going to go over any installations or anything. There's already tons of good videos out there. I have them on my featured channels. Peak Motorcycles is awesome. Adventure Daily had some good videos that really helped me out getting everything installed on here. So shout out to them, thank you. And here we go. First thing, K-Tech fork spring. I'm a fat boy, so I needed suspension work. That was going to be true on pretty much any bike I ride. I'm 6'1", 220 pounds, so just kind of goes without saying I'm going to have to do something about suspension. I put the Tusk Chubb fat bars on here, 1 1/8 inch, as well as a Pro Taper bar adapter, which you probably can't see here. No, you can't because the bar pad, but it's up underneath there. The adapter for the 1 1/8 inch bars. It also raises them up just slightly. Tusk bar pad, nothing special there. Zeta XC handguards with integrated turn signals. I really like these. They just barely fit at full lock. Thank goodness. I wanted the integrated turn signals. I really like the way that looks. My soldering skills are subpar, so I'm very pleased that that all worked. Got them soldered, heat heat tubes on there, tried to clean it up as best I could, taped everything up, and I'm really happy that that's all working. Turn signal block-off plates, you can see those here, just helps keep it clean and looking nice. Pro Taper Palo Top grips, nothing special about that, who cares. Double take adventure mirrors, I had those on my 450L, I migrated those over to this bike, I'll probably keep those on whichever bike. I also put a Zeta aluminum throttle tube on when I did the bars, it just was easier, I wanted to be able to keep, I've got the stock bars back there, I wanted to just be able to keep that stuff stock in case I ever want to put that back on or someone else did, and this is its own setup. Zeta foot pegs, these are bigger and wider than stock, and I think they look cool. H2C rear brake reservoir guard, that guy there, just some added protection. That thing was pretty exposed otherwise. Also an H2C sprocket cover there, makes it easier to clean that out, and I think it looks nice. Yamamoto skid plate down underneath, you can kind of see it there. Just a beefier skid plate than stock. Where I ride, it's really rocky and rough, so I wanted to have that on there. DNA air filter. It is a reusable, cleanable filter. I'm not going to take this off or anything, it's just an air filter. It's supposed to do 10% increased airflow as well. That is the only airbox mod I plan to do. Moto X stainless steel full exhaust system. Surprisingly inexpensive. I think it was $225 for the system. It came with a spark arrestor and a baffle. The spark arrestor they have is unusual. It's like a cup and looks pretty restrictive and actually goes right about there. And around here you have to have a U.S. Forest Service approved spark arrestor, especially all the fires we have in California. I don't want to take any chances. The way they check for those, if they do check, they take a stick and poke it in the back of your exhaust and make sure it won't go in there. So you have to have one of these screen type spark arrestors. I purchased an FMF, I forget the exact part number, I want to say it's 040670 or something close to that. Unfortunately, it was not an exact fit. There was a user on Reddit who mentioned that specific part number, and he also mentioned that you would have to cut a slit in it with a Dremel tool. Well, I used my cheap piece of shit Chinese $20 rotary tool. The discs, you can see the remnant of a disc over there on the ground that kept breaking. I was able to finally cut with multiple discs one little slice in there, but I still couldn't get it to slide in there. It was still too large diameter. So I took the only other tool I had to it, which was a file that was way too big, and you can see there basically where I filed a groove down, so I was able to get it in there and get it bolted in. I filled the crack with red high temp silicone, so not the prettiest job, but hopefully it does the trick. I removed the charcoal canister. You won't be able to see that with the plastics on there. Took that off, also removed the pair valve. Had the ECU flashed for the stage 1 91 octane set up by 550 Performance. I installed an LED flasher relay. It sits right back underneath here. That was just a plug and play mod for the LEDs, since I have the LED taillight and handguards. YSS rear shock. Again, suspension was a must for me. I knew that before I bought the bike that I was going to need to do the suspension. The shock in particular is really bad. The front honestly didn't seem nearly as bad, but that shock, if you're any weight at all, you're going to have to do something about that. 12 o'clock Labs integrated rear brake fender eliminator. It gets rid of the turn signals. You can see those are blocked off here as well. Integrates them into the brake light. I really like that the brake light flashes when you apply the brake to be more visible. This is probably not California legal, but I really like the way it looks and think it's a slick system. So there you have it. Motoskill rear rack. This is a rack here. Pretty basic rack. I knew I was going to put a tail bag on it. The tail bag is a Nelson Rig Adventure tail bag. I did a kickstand extender, so the kickstand seems short even before you do anything about the suspension. After suspension, it was definitely too short. Someone else on Adventure Rider had done, they suggested using a hockey puck. So that's what I did. I bought a hockey puck, it was $4. I shaped it with a hacksaw and some sandpaper because I don't own proper tools. It took forever. Shaped it down, and then I just drilled through and put a couple bolts in there, and now it's just about perfect. It sits at a comfortable height. I don't have to use a block of wood and feels a lot better on the side stand. I put a battery tender dongle on the battery underneath there, and I think that's pretty much it. There's probably not anything else I'm going to do at this point other than tires. I'm going to keep the stock tires until I wear them out. When I do wear them out, I'll probably go with a Dunlop 606 on the rear and a Pirelli MT21 on the front. I hear that's a popular combo. If not on the front, just D606 front and rear. I've run those before and was pretty happy with them. I will put a lithium-ion battery in when it comes time to replace the battery. I'm not going to do that now. I would definitely shave some more weight, but I'm not going to replace a perfectly good brand new battery at this time. I also purchased a 38-tooth rear sprocket. I'd heard good things from folks on the Adventure Rider forums about that. I'm not going to put it on just yet. I'm going to try it with the stock gearing for a bit. I may put that on soon. I may wait until this one's more worn. We'll see. It seemed with my combination of mods with the exhaust, airbox, and ECU flash that it might work out better with that 38 tooth. So, and the last thing that I would possibly do is a quad lock phone mount, but I don't do long distance riding. I pretty much know all the routes I'm going to be riding. I don't need my phone for GPS or anything mounted on there, so it's just not a big deal to me. Other than that, probably nothing else. If I find for some reason that I need a heat shield on that exhaust, if it's melting that plastic or something, I would maybe put a heat shield on the exhaust. And if the frame gets scratched up, I will put some frame guards on there, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I've spent enough money on this thing as it is. I probably should go through and total up the cost of everything I did. Ballpark is about $2,500, I want to say, which is a lot to spend on a budget bike, but I knew from the get-go that that's part of the reason I bought this bike, is because there was all the stuff that I wanted to do to it. Does it need all this stuff? No, absolutely not. The bike would be perfectly fine stock with the exception of the suspension. You will need to do something about the suspension, in particular the rear shock, but beyond that, it's a pretty great bike. Stock, all this other stuff are just things that I want or I like, and just to set it up the way I want and personalize it. Some of these things are things I would do on any bike. Things like the brake guard, foot pegs, handlebar, ergonomics. Everyone's going to do ergonomics to suit them. Skid plate for the areas I ride. That's kind of a must. Hand guards. Oh, also these Zeta levers I forgot to mention. Again, not necessary. I think they look good. I like the way they feel, and it allows me to carry the stock levers in the toolbox in case I were to break one. I have a set of spares. So I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to keep this video too long, so if you have any questions about the build, where I got stuff, etc., let me know. Happy to discuss it, and I'll have another video coming soon of my first ride. I'm hoping to do that on Friday. I'm very, very eager to take this thing out again and do some more riding. So can't wait. I'm stoked. Couldn't be happier that everything's going well. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, I did order a Seat Concepts Comfort XL seat, but that is back ordered. I probably won't see that until March. So I will also be looking forward to that. But yeah, super pleased with the build. I'm really happy with how everything's turned out and can't wait to ride it. All right, thanks.